Today's episode, we've chosen the word opportunity. And the things that we'll be reading, the excerpts that we'll be reading, and the things that I'll be talking about my children's book, all deal with having the opportunity in our lives to do certain things, to decide in certain situations. So it's all about the opportunity in your life and what you do with those particular opportunities. So today's readings, we are changing things up just a little bit. Both Stephanie and Jackie will be reading, excuse me, their own excerpts. So that's what we'll be doing today.
Okay. Jackie, do you want to go first, or?
What would you prefer?
Sure. That's fine. You can go.
I can go first? Okay, great. So this excerpt comes from my first book, Myth, A Modern Myth, written by Jack Beal. And a little bit of background, it's quite close to the beginning of the book. It starts out with 6-year-old Robbie Flynn, who was actually born at the very moment that the war began in the 1940s. And so this excerpt happens a couple years after his dad comes home and he's remembering the first time that he saw his father return after the war. It's been nearly 2 years since that winter night in 1945 when Dad doddered through the doorway, but I don't know him any better than I did as I stood there looking up at him in my pajamas. I guess it's because of whatever happened to him out there, but I reckon I'll never know. As I'd imagine you've already noticed, Dad's got this way of ending a conversation before it's able to begin. And I've gotten used to the quiet, especially since Grandmom has joined Mom in those rows of grass-laid stones. I know I shouldn't say this, but sometimes I can't help but feel I got a bum deal. Every time someone comes into my life, it's only because somebody else has got to be taken out of it. From what I understand, soon after Grandmom came to live with me, my mother went away. When Dad came back from the war that lasted 6 years and a day, Grandmom was the one to go. The way I see it, it's safer for me to keep to myself. Still, it's a lonely cycle, especially this time. Grandmom told me stories. She let me lick the batter spoon and tucked me in at night. Dad's hardly around. Sure, he sleeps in the room at the end of the hallway, but that doesn't make him any less of a stranger. Our paths don't cross a whole lot, which makes it awfully hard to get to know him at all. You see, my dad does shift work down at the Red Cloud mine. He puts in real long hours. Lots of times he's leaving when I'm heading up to bed. Most of the time, he's not here when I wake up either, and I have to fetch breakfast all by myself. Not that it bothers me being alone. Like I already said, I'm used to it. But I still can't help but notice Dad's going off a whole lot more than he's coming back. Once, I mustered up the courage to ask him about it. It took all of the nerve I could gather to creep over to where he was sitting in his reading chair, but when I got there, all I could do was stand and stare. I guess if I inherited anything from the man, it was his way with words. The two of us spent a long time looking at one another before Dad finally broke the silence. I know it's not easy, son, he began, like a mind reader, as if while I considered him an outsider, he knew me like the back of his hand. Something deep inside of me clicked open, and before I could stop them, the words came pouring out. Then why are you always leaving? I'll never forget the sorry look that spread over Dad's face as he folded the newspaper and set it on the armrest. If I leave so much, it's for you.
That's beautiful. Yeah. It really is. So much written between the lines, in the lines, around the words. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, it really is. Very, very deep. Very deep. And I like the way you use the 5 senses in different places.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah. I was trying to portray the misunderstanding that comes not just from children, but for so many of us. Somebody might be doing something as a way of helping or of giving us an opportunity, and we might see it as the complete opposite, that they're taking something away.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so.
Especially from a child's point of view.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Very much so. But I like the last line. Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah. It kind of rivets you, it rivets you to your seat and you have to think about everything that you just read.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's where you take the book and you put it up against your chest as you're reading and think, whoa. Yeah, that's where you think.
And what made you choose this passage?
Because of that reason that I think that a lot of times now as an adult, it's the opposite way. That a lot of times when in everyday life, when you seek to help somebody and help by providing an opportunity and you see that it's not received in the way that you thought it would be. And when I was just looking through the different books that I've written and I came across that and I thought that's an interesting spin, kind of a subversion on the idea of the of opportunity in general, how it can be misunderstood.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very good.
Where do you think, as a creative individual, you gleaned all of those feelings? I mean, because in those last couple of sentences, we see so much about the Father and so much about the Son. Like, where
Mm.
do you think that resonated in you?
Personally, I think I'm something of an empath, so I do pick up this kind of information on people all the time when I see I kind of do see situations and discussions and people through a sort of reading through the lines. I observe a lot of times. I've noticed that I used to think everybody did it, and I think a lot of people do.
Mhm.
But a lot of times I feel more how people are feeling than the actual words that they're saying.
Mhm. Yeah. Well written.
Thank you.
Yeah. Get ready to embark on a delicious adventure with Hattie, the cupcake dinosaur. This vibrant tale follows Hattie, a creative little dino who turns baking into a magical experience. When teasing from friends threatens his passion, Hattie hosts an epic cupcake party that transforms skepticism into smiles. This heartwarming story encourages children to never give up on their dreams. With enchanting illustrations and a powerful message, Hattie is a must have for young readers and the perfect addition to any child's bookshelf. Don't miss out. Grab your copy and watch your child's creativity soar. Steph, do you want to go next?
So this passage is from my new book that's releasing in July, and I'll explain a little bit after why I chose it for opportunity. But let me try to read this without messing it all up. Throw them in the dungeons, the Serpent King yelled, and immediately the guards aggressively grabbed hold of Brody and Vernia. Brody's eyes caught Vernia's, and she shook her head, a warning for him not to attack. Why would she do that, he wondered. Rage pulsed inside him, and he fought at every inch. The ancients were angry. Vano would be punished, and the first to die would be King Servia. The guards pushed Brody and Vernia down to the ground and began to shackle them. Vernia leaned in and whispered to Brody quickly, "What is a small amount of time in chains when he who possesses the ancient magic can never really be harmed? You will have your day, Shadow Breaker." Brody pounded at the stone walls of the dungeons, his fists cracking and bleeding with each rhythmic punch. The cell had a spell that contained magic, and the ancients saw it as a threat. They were screaming inside of him, and he was determined to punch the wall down if he had to. "You must calm yourself, Shadowbreaker," Brody heard Vernia say softly from the next cell. She sat on a stone slab watching him destroy the wall. Brody let out a primal scream before punching the stones once more and stomping over to her. He couldn't reach her through the bars, but the ancients still showed their wrath, and he clung to the bars that separated them. If he could pull them apart, he would make her pay for what she'd done. You did this to me, Brody yelled, his eyes flashing orange before fading back to blue. I shouldn't have listened to you. His voice was more beast than human, a deep, gravelly growl. He felt his head cocked to the side in an attempt to control the surging fury inside of him. The war going on inside Brody was too much to bear. Even Slug couldn't respond. The ancients had silenced him, and now Brody was being silenced too. There were too many personalities inside of him itching to gain control, and he was losing the battle. You think your powers are lost, Vernia said, trying to calm him, but they're merely contained. You won't be in here for much longer, Brody. What do you mean? Brody snarled. I mean that on the full moon, just a few weeks from now, King Servio will hold his infamous death games in the Serpent's Arena, and he will have you as the main contender. Whoever wins goes free. You will go free, Brody. How do you know? His voice had calmed slightly. Because King Servio is very calculated and gives even his most dangerous prisoners a chance, and because you are the most powerful being alive. You will undoubtedly win. He's simply testing you to see if you are who you claim to be. And even if I win, what about you? He asked. Vernia smirked. I have other ways of breaking free. Don't worry about that. But Brody did worry. His human side didn't trust Vernia anymore. The ancients wanted her around. She sighed before saying, Listen, King Servio is much better on our side than against us in this war. He's powerful. His resources are many. And even the King of Shadows is wary of him. So obviously, if you're tuning in, you have no idea what's going on. But this character was human, and through a magical procedure, which I'm not going to divulge the secrets or the spoilers, rather, he has inhabited a shadow creature into him, as well as ancient magic, which this ancient magic has the ancients, which you have to read the story to know all this, but they are in him as well. So he's really warring with himself. But this passage in particular is really about Vernia, who is a very sketchy character who has her own agenda. And so she sees this particular situation as a way to enact her agenda. So allowing for Brody to be captured instead of using the power that he has against these people in order to get this king to be on his side for a imminent war that is coming. So that's why I chose this as opportunity.
Yeah. And a couple people have different opportunities in what you read.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. The king, Brody, Vernia.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's cool to be able to do that. Show the opportunity that all three of them have, to change a situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I absolutely love Shadowbreaker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
When you were writing this, were you hoping for your readers to kind of side with one of these characters during this passage? Because you are presenting so many different opportunities, and you can kind of tell that the different that they're not all going to win.
Right. I think that I wanted to show Brody's vulnerability, even though he has such power. I think that was really my goal here. He has all this power, but it's like he's kind of lost himself. And so he's listening to everybody else. I think this is like a bigger issue, right? If you like look at this from a larger issue, he's has so many voices coming at him that the one that he doesn't trust is this one. But there's all of these and some of them are inside of him, but they're not him. And so he has the ancients speaking to him, and he has Slog, who is this being speaking to him, and he has Vernia feeding him information, and he's just, all over the place. But the one person that he doesn't listen to is himself.
How apropos.
Yep.
For us as readers to identify.
Yeah.
Yeah. How often we don't take the opportunity to listen to our own wisdom.
Right. And I think that for me comes directly from myself and having to learn that. So that part of Brody is really rooted with me, because I think that just naturally we tend to listen to other people and what other people have to say and shape our reality based upon what they say or what they say what we should do. When we really, if you guys will learn later if you read the book that it would be in his best interest to really follow what's in here.
And so there's a connection between both of your books, excerpts that you've just read, and it is the wisdom of listening to your own heart or your own wisdom, taking that opportunity to stop and listen to your own words. Good. Well, I'll jump in and talk about mine. And in the book that I have to talk about today, it's a children's book, and it's called Hattie. And it's based on a dinosaur who is thrilled about making cupcakes. But he, very much similar to what we're talking about right now, the outside voices, his friends who are making fun of him about the fact that he's a boy and that he would like to bake, is very, very hard for him. So he gets very upset by the laughing and the jeering from his friends. So I'll read just a tiny little excerpt about what happens to Hattie when he tries to figure out what to do. So, right now he's talking to his little friends because they all say to him, "What is a cupcake?" Because they say dinosaurs don't eat cupcakes. And so he tells them how it's made. And he said it's made of flour, eggs, sugar, and butter. You can make all different kinds of delicious cupcakes: chocolate, vanilla, caramel, peanut butter. That's weird. Dinosaurs don't eat cupcakes, said Dex, who was his best friend. And they walked away. Hattie was heartbroken. When he got home, though, he found his mom in the kitchen baking. "Mom, I don't understand why Dex would not invite me to his birthday party. Is it because I like different things?" Hattie's mother said, "Well, Hattie, maybe you should make a special cupcake for each of your friends and let them see for themselves why you like them so much." And as Hattie went to sleep, he thought about this. So just those couple little sentences really open the opportunity for Hattie to decide what he really wants to do. Does he take the opportunity to make the cupcakes for his friends so that they can see what a cupcake really is about with all the different ingredients? Or does he just go to sleep and keep everything inside himself? So I think it's a really adorable book and gives children the opportunity to sit and think about themselves. How do they present themselves to people that might not agree with what they're saying? Children have little bullies and things like that. But how do you stand up for something that you believe in? And how do you take the opportunity to go ahead and try to stand up and just present things? And so the book goes on, and Hattie comes up with a very clever, very, very clever way to share himself and what he loves with his friends. And the outcome is really very interesting for everyone. So that's his opportunity. How do you listen to yourself? And how do you listen to yourself? So it's a cute little story.
It is. It's an adorable story. And I think it also shows this idea of being your unique self and following a dream that maybe, again, taking that opportunity when potentially going back to the connection between ours, where there are other voices saying not to do something and then taking the opportunity to do it.
Yeah, and I like the way his mom says she gives him the opportunity to make his own choice. She doesn't tell him what to do. She just says, maybe you could make a very special cupcake, which then gives him ownership of coming up with the solution. And that's what I like very much about this story. He's not told what to do by an adult. He is given the opportunity to come up with a solution, to what's happening to him. So the book really does have a lot of different little things in it that are very, very reflective for children.
And the illustrations are absolutely
the illustrations are magnificent. They really are.
She did a beautiful job, and I will make sure that I include the link to this book as well, because I think it's such a great book. And the Dinosaur, Hattie, is based out of, do you want to tell them?
Haddonfield, New Jersey.
Yeah.
And in fact, Hattie is the first dinosaur that was found, and right there in Haddonfield, New Jersey.
Yeah, and there's a beautiful statue, and
there is.
Yeah, so that's Hattie. So people can go buy their book and then go to visit Haddonfield and take a picture.
Right next to Hattie. Yeah, it really is a cool thing. Yeah, we're very lucky to have it in and around us. Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
So we're hoping that all of you that are listening will take the opportunity to share this video, and most especially for you to write to us. Give us some comments about different opportunities that you've taken in different situations where you find yourself needing to make a particular decision about whatever might be a situation in your life. So please reach out to us. We'd be thrilled to hear from you, and we'll see you again very soon.
Take care, everyone.